This is the story of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Sponsored by Whiskey and Coke.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
Marley was dead to begin with. That's how the book starts. It's so depressing.
Scrooge and Marley, they were business partners, and Scrooge is just a miserable motherfucker, like,
Old crotchety ass white dude.
Bob Cratchit works for Scrooge, and it's December 24th.
Doesn't matter. So he's like, bah humbug, I hate everything. Bitches are like, can I put one more piece of coal in the fire? And he's like, no. Like, bitch, are you serious? They're like, freeze. And they're like, I'm just so cold. And he's like, freeze.
And Bob is like, yo, Scrooge, can I please have tomorrow off? It's Christmas Day. And Scrooge is like, why do you need tomorrow off? It's a regular day. And Cratchit's like, I have a family. I have 24 children. And Scrooge is like, fine, but you better be here early the next morning.
Scrooge goes home, after his work day. So he goes into his house, which he does not light with electricity because it's too expensive. He uses one candle, and he's going up to his bedroom with his giant fireplace, and he's having his little dinner, which is like porridge and bread. I don't know.
And he goes to sleep. And while he's sleeping, this ghost comes to his house, and he's like, ooh, ooh. And Bob is like, what? Or not Bob. Scrooge is like, what is going on?
And looks up in his room and sees Marley, Jacob Marley, standing before him.
And he's like, got chains, and his head is wrapped like he went to the dentist, and he has a toothache. And basically he's like,
Scrooge, I'm here because you need to fucking learn, dude. You need to learn a lesson. And you're going to be visited by some motherfuckers tonight, and you need to pay attention to what they say. And Scrooge is like, I don't believe you're here. This is definitely a dream. I definitely had a fatty piece of pork or some, extra sugar. This is totally a hallucination, but whatever. I'm not taking you seriously. And,
ghost number 1 shows up, ghost of the past. And she's like,
come with me, we're gonna go visit your past. And they see a couple different times.
I guess Scrooge forgot what he was like. I don't know.
Scrooge's past is shit. Oh my god, his life was horrible. Which doesn't excuse you for being a dick, by the way.
And Scrooge is like, bitch, you don't know my life? So then the ghost is like, alright, okay, I mean, I don't know your life now, but I'm the ghost of Christmas past, I knew what your life was.
Then he goes back to his bedroom, and the ghost is like, you're gonna see more ghosts tonight, but I gotta go. And so the ghost leaves, and Scrooge goes back to bed, still probably thinking this is a dream, any excuse to not take responsibility. So then it's the ghost of Christmas present pops up.
He's always like, come and know me better, man. He's this big giant redheaded goof who's the present.
They go to Bob Cratchit's house, and Bob Cratchit is has a wife and all these kids.
And the ghost says, here comes Bob now with another member of his family, and it's Tiny Tim, this cute-ass little boy who walks with a crutch, so, tugging at everybody's heartstrings.
Tiny Tim's like, oh my god, sad.
And Jacob is like, no, not Jacob, Bob. Bob is like, ugh, what a beautiful Christmas spread, my wife. And she's like, it would be more beautiful if we could afford a turkey, but we don't got shit because Scrooge does not pay you anything. And Bob's like, it's the important thing that we're here together. It doesn't matter if we can afford a turkey.
And you would think that Bob Cratchit would be like, fuck Scrooge, he's a piece of shit, he lets me fucking freeze in the cold. But no, Bob Cratchit is like, you know what? Scrooge really isn't that bad.
And everybody in the Cratchit family is like super jolly, even though they have no money. And
Bob Cratchit stands up and he's like, to Scrooge. And the wife is like, no, whatever. If he was here, I would, tell him a piece of my mind. But she's like, I'll toast to him to support you, to Ebenezer. And, it cuts back to Ebenezer and the ghost, and he's like,
Spirit, will Tiny Tim live to see next year's Christmas?
The ghost says, I see a crutch without an owner in the future. Which, that's not what anyone wants to hear.
Basically, he then shows him, he lifts his, cloak, and there are, two skinny, horrid children under his cloak. They're like, I'm starving. And they're like, hee hee hee, like demon kids. And Scrooge is, creeped out, which, ditto.
And then the ghost is like, I gotta go. There's one more person who's coming to you tonight. And boom, gone. So Scrooge is back in his room and he's like,
damn, alright son, let's see what's in my future. And what's in his future is death.
And lightning strikes and they're in a fucking cemetery and the ghost of motherfucking future shows up and he is the Grim Reaper. She. I'm gonna say she. Why not?
And so the ghost of Christmas future takes Scrooge and they see this group of men that are standing around talking and they're laughing and saying, it's gonna be a cheap funeral, no one's gonna go, this dude who died, nobody cares. And Scrooge is like, who are they talking about? And the creepy guy, the creepy ghost of Christmas future is like, and Scrooge looks down and it's his own grave.
And he's like, I want to be better. And Future's like, do it.
So then Scrooge wakes up and he's like, oh my gosh, it's all a dream? Even if it was a dream, I learned something.
So he goes to the window and he opens it up and there's this boy running by and he's like, hey boy, what day is it? And he says, why, it's Christmas Day, sir. And Scrooge throws him some money and says, go buy me the biggest turkey that you can possibly find. And the boy says, okay, and he just trusts him, I guess.
And then he takes it to Bob Cratchit's house and they have a giant party and then Scrooge is no longer an asshole. So, basically, don't be a dick.
Be nice to poor people so that people will show up to your funeral.
Treat others kindly.
But then the Tiny Tim guy, he's comes out and he's like, Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. Or is that Rudolph? I don't know. I think it is a Christmas Carol where where Tiny Tim's like, Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. And I think that's how it ends.
And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us.